Guys, I knew it was over back in the 90s. I just had a comment on the last video on Covert Radio, and they had made basically a comment like, so you what, all of this surprises you? And and I am going to cover it in one of the next few videos because I guess I am surprised. Because I've been following this since around 97, the New World Order and the 1,000 Points of Lights. And there was a portion of time in there that I thought it's not going to happen in my lifetime. And it is fear mongering. It's just a way to control people. I've said this time and time again, fear is the currency that buys control. And fear propaganda is really nothing new. They've done this for many, 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 many generations, hundreds and hundreds of years. Propagating fear does keep people in control. They don't want to step on anybody's toes. They don't want to step out of line. And then there's the concept that a lot of the control is just an illusion. And even if there is a point in time where you're imprisoned or, whatever, then you got to get through the court system, which again is another joke. And I think that's why, high-end criminals really they have a different understanding of, how the system works. The vast majority of people just fear getting involved, fear getting a ticket, fear getting tied up in court, fear going to jail. Fear is control. But, like I said, I've been following this since around 97. I've told that story before. I'm not going to tell it again because I want to keep this short. But I personally knew, minus the information I was told and read in 97. But then once I seen McDonald's come out with the the super value meal, and then they came out with the what was it, the 42-ounce supersized drink. Now look into this again. I am not lying. I'm not wasting your time. It was right around 99, 2000, about 21 years, 22 years ago, that McDonald's introduced the 42-ounce supersized drink. I knew it was over. I knew right then and there. And if I could call some of my 20, 30-some-year-old friends, friends I've had for 20, 30 years, I would ask them, tell the folks what I used to say when the supersized drinks came out. And they would laugh, because they probably laughed then, but they would laugh and they would say, this is the beginning of the end. You always used to say this is the beginning of the end. Considering that McDonald's started out selling 7-ounce drinks in the 50s. And then they didn't make the jump till 16-ounce drinks until the 60s, late 60s or something. And then the 7-Eleven really introduced the big gulp and all this and that. And it was just like, I knew it was over in the late 90s because here's the simple reason for that. How much bigger can they get? It's a simple concept. It's a simple question. How much bigger can a drink get? What, are they going to start handing out 2-3 liters of pop sugar water with your value meal, your Big Mac and fries, and a 2 or 3 liter drink? No, it's not going to happen. That's why I knew it was the beginning of the end. We've plateaued back in the 90s. And essentially, what's the saying, hindsight is 20/20. Because you can look back and you're like, because 20/20 vision, for any of you that don't know that quote, if you have 20/20 vision, you see perfectly. You don't need glasses, don't need LASIK, anything like that. But then when you look back in time, hindsight, you have hindsight, you're looking back. They say hindsight is 20/20. Meaning, if I knew then what I know now. It's the same thing, and if you follow the trajectory of politics and policy and just the demoralization of the United States, the American people, the poverty, the music, the drug abuse, the medical tyranny, every other commercial is, aren't you sick? You need this test. Hey, you're sick. You need this drug. Feeling bad? You need a drug. Talk to your doctor about this. Talk to your doctor about that. You don't want to get this. You certainly don't want to get that. Over and over and over and over and over and over. The television controls healthcare. The media controls healthcare. And these doctors are just dope slingers. We all know this. This is nothing new. But again, I knew it was over when the supersize menu and drinks came out. And that wasn't introduced until the late 90s, around 1999, by McDonald's. So at that point, we've been sliding down. We've been sliding backwards. This is just going to be a quick video because I have still 2 to 3 more videos they're going to blow your mind. You think what's about to happen is just fear porn, fear mongering, whatever. It is not. I've followed this since the late 90s, and we are here. It is here, and it's going to happen quickly in our generation. And I've been saying ever since the insurgency on the 6th, it was perfectly clear to me that it was I don't want to say a staged event, but it definitely had the optics. It had the required optics to move to the next step. It's like playing a game of chess. If you know you want to move a rook out and you're thinking 7-8 moves ahead, there's 7-8 pieces of the chess pieces that have to move. You got to move this here so you can move that there. Then you can move that. Then you can move that. You're hoping they will do this. So yes, then you're going to move that. Boom, 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 checkmate. That's exactly what just happened. And you have to understand something on the most, even kill level. And this is for anything. I don't care, to take politics out of it. This is anything. You have to devalue something or someone. You have to demonize something or someone. You have to make sure that they are a target. You have to make sure they're the intended target by devaluing, demonization. And that way you can drastically change the perception. You can lure society. You can use behavioral modification on society, on the mass population, so that then they become, everything you're about to do is accepted. They accept what's going to be happening to the people who are devalued and demonized. So any amount of persecution, punishment, death, whatever you have lined up and ready to go, you have to first devalue and demonize the target, and then everybody's going to, be on board. Just like Charles Manson. I don't know why that just popped in my head. I've talked about Manson. He went to trial for a year or something, and then all the people shaving their heads and the swastika carved into his forehead, and the Tate LaBianca and Sharon Tate's baby was cut out, and they smeared their blood around, and they tried to start a race war. This has been going on for a long time. This race war is inevitable. It's inevitable. So what they're doing is they are going to start pushing and pushing and pushing and giving their soldiers even more money, whatever they want. The mouthpieces who are controlling the black hive mind. I'm a victim of the black hive mind. I'm a victim of what one single hateful, racist black person can do just by words. Just using words. no proof, no reality, no firsthand account, just accusations and lies can drastically change the perception of an entire hive mind. I mean, it's true with all races if you want to specifically talk about race. But again, you have to devalue and demonize your intended target before what's about to happen can happen. And it is widely accepted by the Democrats that black people are stupid and they will do whatever they're told to do. That's not my opinion. That is a widely accepted view. Just like Biden had said, he literally believes the vast majority of the black hive mind is so shallow and uninformed that if you don't vote for Biden, then you ain't black. Like that, write that on my tombstone, because my spine, like I literally almost cracked my spine from cringing when he said that. And nobody says anything about it. It's perfectly acceptable. If you ain't black if you don't vote for Biden. And then Hillary Clinton with her opening up her purse. Oh, is that hot sauce in there? Oh, Lordy, there's some hot sauce. Like, just so happen to be hot sauce? Come on. That's how gullible they truly believe black people are. While the whole last 4 or 5 years has been nothing but the Democrats focusing on the borders, the Mexican people, the South Americans, what have you. And even the BLM itself, we talked recently about the, $700 million they have raised? $800 million that has just been given to them by corporations and donations. And there was 300, I forget the exact numbers, but this is a video I did recently. We worked out the math, and it's around, $1 million or $5 million for every single black person in America. The BLM could take that money right this second and peel off several $1 million to every single black person in America. That would stimulate the economy. That would help a lot of people with poverty. They don't want to change the way the system is. The way the system is. The people that are in control do not want to change the system of control. Because how simple would it be? Just like the Powerball or Mega Millions or whatever it was $1 billion. One ticket was sold. There's only 300 and some million people in the United States. Whoever won that Powerball, even after taxes, could dish out $1 million for every single person in America and still have several $100 million left over for themselves and their family. What would you do with $1 million? Do you think that there would be empty houses on every block in America? Do you think that there would be cement skeleton structures in every strip mall, and the malls are dead, and every city there's just businesses closed and boarded up and everything else? Do you think that would happen if every American was given $1 million, or even every black person was given $5 to $10 million by the BLM? They don't want the change. They want the system exactly how it is, and now it's moving at lightning speed. But they cannot do what they're about to do unless they continue to demonize white Americans. And I'm going to prove that. I said that in one of my last videos, and there was a message that showed up in my feed about, you're a liar, Trump this, and black people this, black people were the ones that got Trump into, just on and on and on. And then when I clicked to read the rest of it, it didn't show up on the video. I personally don't know any black people that voted for Biden. I don't. They love America. They have their families. We're all friends. Everything's good. Everything's okay. They want to believe in prosperity and change. They want to have good jobs available. You know, everything that was said sounded good, but it sounded too good. And that's why I've been warning everybody for the last 4 years. But see, I don't just have to say that. I can prove that because my voice is dated for the last 4 or 5 years. And whether they're trolls or whatever they are, you're a liar. Okay, really? Because this is just literally one article out of thousands that I could have pulled up. Black voters drove Joe Biden's victory and have offered this country a reboot. The article goes on and on about us versus them. We have mountains yet to climb. Look what we can do. Not even the mask can hide the joy and hope on our people's faces. Hundreds of years of oppression, and black folks have loved and dedicated everything they have to a country who has not reciprocated. I mean, but the people in control will do nothing to help the hive mind or the black people, because they will never, ever, ever allow black people to relate to America and be called an American if they can choose the words. Even this writer here, the whole article is us versus them. The whole article is black women did this, white women did that. Black men did this, white voters did that. Like, there's no Americanism here. These people in control, these communists, it's essential for black people to hate America as much as they do. And the reason that they keep drawing the racial lines is because they want you desperately to associate America to white. That's it. And once they can, and they've done it to millions of people, and the mouthpieces here in the sector just continue to regurgitate that talking point. Like Umar Johnson, who is continuously robbing black people. But he's telling all the black people that listen to him that it's black and us, or, black versus white, us versus them. While at the same time digging the money out of your purse and digging the money out of your pocket. Tariq Nasheed does the exact same thing. He lives in a very nice house, several $100,000, looked like a gated or private community. He's constantly coming up with this pro-black this pro-black that, hate this white person, hate that white person, hate this white person. Hey, by the way, I'm going to start a brand new website and I need $100,000. Boop, there you go. Ripped you off again. What are you getting from this? You get to look at Tariq Nasheed's vacation pictures every 6 months that he comes up with a new project and then immediately goes on vacation with your money? Has he created any jobs? Has he created any wealth? Has he given out any real information, any true knowledge? I mean, I'm not talking about the history he talks about that's 200 and some years old. I'm not talking about that. Has he helped you today? He feels like he can talk for you. He feels like he can speak for you. But has he helped you? Has Umar Johnson helped you? No, all they've done is taking your money, and they're creating the division every day more and more, building that wall higher and higher. But again, the reason they're doing this is what they're paid to do. This is where their support is, because they have to continue the divide so that what's about to happen is going to be widely accepted. And I know this for a fact. You have no idea what I'm about to show you guys. Not in this video. I just wanted to quickly do this. I'm researching some things, and another article just pops up. So it made me so crazy I had to quickly talk about it. I'm just sick of the lies, and I don't know why there's hardly anybody that's talking about it on this level. Second, let's talk about the black turnout in the race, the presidential race. Many analysts have understandably put a spotlight on black voters in key cities, including Detroit, Milwaukee, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and Atlanta. Biden won the city of Detroit with 94% of the vote? Well, Trump only received 5%. Now, there are no jobs hardly in Detroit. The entire auto industry is out of Detroit. And we're talking union jobs where these guys are making $20, $30 an hour. Trump had stated, I'm going to try to bring all this back. I want to get the tariffs on China and these other countries that are literally taking our jobs and industry. Well, at least that we got to make some money from it. No. No, they want the continuation, the destruction of these cities. And they're going to keep pushing black people out. Mark my words. Mark my words. They're going to continue to keep compartmentalizing black people, pushing them away, put them in bigger groups, push them away, consolidate, push, consolidate, push, consolidate, push. Because their new projects is going to be filled with South Americans and people who are going to walk straight over the American border, the southern border, right into an army uniform, or they're going to walk straight into a Marine uniform, or they're going to walk straight into a Navy uniform, while at the same time, have you seen the new ads? The government is offering a $40,000 sign-on bonus for the military. And I'm not sure if it's all branches. Look into it. That is what and they already know. Yeah, some black people go to the military. A lot do, but a lot of them, they really do hate the country. We really did, push them over the edge. They don't want nothing to do with nobody. So those are the ones that get put into prison. Or they're the ones that die of cancer at a young age, or they're the ones that are, in extreme amounts of poverty. The only way out of that is to pick up a gun for Uncle Sam. That is their true, real use for really most of us, all of us. But I'm specifically talking about somebody telling me I'm lying about the last video I made. When I got my facts backwards about how it was black people they're the only ones that cared about Trump. They need Trump. But that's not the reality of this. That might be the reality in your area. But that's not what the numbers show. And hijacked or not, stolen or not, mail-in ballots, recreated, redrawn up for the... Okay, whatever. That may or may not all come out. I personally don't think it will come out because they're all in on this. They're all in on the direction that the country is going and what all of our uses are. %87 of black voters supported Biden and Harris, while only 12% backed Trump and Pence. Now, am I lying? And I'll bring up 100 different articles that basically say the exact same thing. 87% of black voters supported Biden, while 12% backed Trump. And let's be clear, this person writes, the majority of white voters once again voted for Trump. See, only white people want to make America great again. That is the narrative. I'm not saying that's true. That is what they must get people to believe. So the next phase of this can be enacted in the next 12 to 18 months or sooner, because it's really coming fast. Again, you guys have no idea what I'm about to show you. And nobody is talking about this. I've not seen one person put this together. Again, not this video, the next one or two. The majority of white voters once again voted for Trump, in spite of the much discussed efforts of groups such as the Lincoln Project. It appears that Trump actually gained support from white women. We cannot overlook the power of the black turnout in smaller and mid-sized cities. There will be many books written about the flipping of Georgia from red to blue. But those books shouldn't focus exclusively on Atlanta and Savannah. They should have chapters about Marcon, Augusta, Savannah, Columbus, Albany, and rural counties in between. But again, the fraud aspect of this isn't allowed to be shown in court. So again, this is the narrative, and nobody's changing it. There's no Republicans in office that are moving forward to stop or change or get this into court. They're all part of the table. They all think they have a seat at the table. But here's quickly just the whole reason I even wanted to. I can't, man. I can't. Because I know what's coming. I know what's coming. I need you to understand this. The communists in control right now, who overthrew the country, the people who want a medical tyranny. I'll show you an article right now. I actually have it pulled up I have 100 pages pulled up right now. This is for another video that they're talking. This is the New York Times again, that they're talking about vaccines will not stop the pandemic. Nothing is ever going back to how we knew it a year ago or 2 years ago. This is forever. This is not going to stop. They want to call the population at least in half. They are going to get rid of the elderly. They are going to get rid of the useless eaters. But they cannot move to the next step, which is the extermination of patriots, the guns, and people who are going to fight them without your support. And I'm talking to you, black man. I'm talking to you, black woman. You're the ones that are going to have to turn a blind eye to this. Because if we are all American loving patriots who want to have a safe place for our family and jobs and a fair wage and decent health insurance, the only way that's going to happen is if we are together. Why do you think everything that they control is to tear us apart and face us off at each other? And the people they elevate on social media, the only ones you really hear are the ones that are divide, hate, divide, hate, divide. Do you think that's a coincidence? They want a medical and technological tyranny, just like the Hunger Games. That is not this. I'm not making this up. It is written, and that's exactly what they're in the process of doing right now. They must get the mass amounts of people, and I'm talking all over the world. Because there are other countries watching this, and their fingers 2 seconds away from sending troops in to help stop the overthrow of this country. But they got to get people to look at people who believe in America, Americanism, or nationalism, whatever you want to call it. People who want sovereignty, who want America to be America and not little China. But mostly the Christians. Those are the biggest targets right now. That's why churches are still shut down. Because Christians know The morality has been taken out of this country. Christians look at these demonic monsters that scream and flip tables and, act like they're this or want to be called that or want to do this, read books to your kids. They have to continue to demonize and get people, the vast majority of people, to look at Christians and Americans and people who believe in sovereignty. They have to get them to look at them as hateful or twisted, in one of the most disdainful ways possible. Because the biggest thing is this: the Christians also know what the mark of the beast is. Without it, you will not be able to buy or sell or trade. Without it, you won't be able to eat. You will not have credit. You will not have a job without it. And it's starting, this process of brainwashing is starting with forced vaccines. But again, they have to devalue and demonize us first. They're intended targets. Because if they're able to do that, and they'll continue to do it, they're going to do it every day. Every day. When was this? This is just today. Yeah. Sunday. Capitol riot put spotlight on apocalyptically minded global far right. Leaderless, but united by racist ideology. You see how not even one sentence has passed in the New York Times, and they're already telling you these people believe in the end times. They're the global far right. This is far stretched even outside of America. They have no leader. We have vanquished their Trumpy. Which Trump has been a part of this plan the entire time. He knew exactly what his position was. His position was to bring people out, get them registered, get them known. This is part of the red list, the blue list, and the green list that has been out since the early 2000s. And that's what I'm going to talk about in this new video coming up. And just to give you the one truth out of the red list, if you're on that red list at 4 a.m., coordinatedly is when they're going to storm your house. There's no trial. Obama set all this up with the detention center in Guantanamo. Every step in the last 15, 20 years has got us to where we are at right now. And again, I said in the last video, they keep saying the word insurrectionist. Again, I'm going to tell you why. It's very pivotal the way they word this. So there's no legality involved. There's no trials. It is straight court-martial or straight into prison or straight execution. If you listen to any of the several videos I did recently, I had an old-time friend come who's a stout Trump supporter. And I kept telling him, I said, dude, that Trump shirt you have on is going to be a target here very soon. Leaderless, but united by racist ideology that has been supercharged by social media. So they're saying racist are using social media. We got to shut them up, continue to shut them up and unfairly silence them and kick them off. Not even one sentence in. They've been supercharged by social media. Extremists have built a web of real and online connections that worry officials. Really. You should be worried. You should be worried. When insurrectionists, see, there's that key word again, insurrection. When insurrectionists stormed the Capitol in Washington this month, far-right extremists across the Atlantic cheered. Hergen Eliezer, the editor of Germany's most prominent far-right magazine, was watching live from his couch. We were following it like a soccer match, he said. 4 months earlier, Mr. Lazier had attended a march in Berlin, where a breakaway mob of far-right protesters tried and failed to force their way into the building that houses Germany's parliament. The parallel was not lost on him. The fact that they actually made it inside raised hopes that there is a plan, he said. It was clear that this was something bigger. Look at this. Far-right extremists, Corona skeptics, and neo-Nazis are feeling restless, said Stephen Kramer, the head of domestic intelligence for the eastern German state of Thuringia. There is a dangerous mix of elation that the rioters made it as far as they did and frustration that it didn't lead to a civil war or coup. So what the people in Germany that also want freedom, who also want sovereignty, who also don't want to come under the thumb of a psychotic leader like Merkel? I mean, how is that right-stream, racist, Nazi extremist? Because you want to be free? See how they're doing it? Meeting online and in purpose. These are all keywords. Online, insurrectionist, online spaces. Oh, looky, white genocide. Extremists are animated by the same conspiracy theories and narratives of white genocide and the Great Replacement of the European populations by immigrants, which is actually been happening for 15 years. In reality, it has actually been happening for 10 to 15 years. I don't care what source you want to go to. I don't care what website, what newspaper, what library you want to go to. All European countries have been infiltrated by Muslims, Africans, Syrians, and people from all over the world. Britain, Germany, Ireland. I mean, every single country in Europe has been infiltrated. America has been infiltrated. And I read to you guys, which I'll also include this in one of the next few videos coming up. You know, I don't remember the exact title, but it was something like a racial plan for the 21st century. And it was it turned out to be a false, a hoax. It was a hoax document written by Israel Cohen in 1952. And I've covered this before on Covert Radio, but it's just a hoax, talking about elevating black people and getting them into all power, levels of entertainment and sports and this, so they'll intermarry with the white race. And when they do this, it degenerates the entire system and brings them under our control. That is the exact document. I'm not saying that. That is a racial plan for the new century or something like that. I'll cover it in the new video. A racial plan for a new century or the 21st century or something. But they've done this all over the world. All over the world. I have biracial daughters, so I mean, I understand what they're saying to a certain degree because, it is any biracial person, if they're honest, they will tell you that it's hard. It's hard, it's confusing, and it's not fair. It really isn't fair because at some point in time, there are people in their lives that are going to insist that they choose one and demonize the other. Tell me I'm lying. Please, tell me I'm lying. You know I'm not lying. So eventually, let's fast forward 100 years, which I have another friend that believes this. He says that eventually there will be one race of person on the planet. They will be basically, he said, a mutt, because it'll be a mixture of every single race on the planet, because they'll be part this, part that, part that, part that, part this, because their mom and dad, their mom was this, and this, and her dad was, this, and this. The grandparents were made of this. So eventually, hundreds of years from now, there will be one race of people on the planet. Whatever. Okay, but what bothers me is the people that are controlling the narrative and the people that are controlling all of this. Their rule number one is to not mix their blood. They're adamant and absolutely insistent that they do not mix their blood. You can read any book you want. You can watch any movie you want. They've told the truth 1,000 times. They marry their own family members, cousins, marry cousins, sometimes brothers and sisters. And if they're not married, they still have a child together for the next generation. The blood stays pure. Their blood stays in their family. The Romans did the exact same thing. The Romans did the exact same thing. So why is it so weird for that to continue? And why is it unbelievable when the Romans openly did it? And secondary to that, if they can't, because they've realized, well, the degradation of our blood is true, because you can't really continue to interbreed like that. Look at there was a story about the Amish in Ohio, Pennsylvania, that their blood line is so muddled because it's cousin with distant cousin with distant this, aunts and nephews, and like, it's just, there's so much inbreeding that a lot of the new generation are like, they're not firing on all cylinders at all. So and there's tons of proof that this happens. So they've been able to secondarily control their status with money. It isn't so much about blood like it was in the Roman times. Now they've realized, we can't do this forever. They still do it though, but it's also secondarily, it's with money. So they can control everybody and their status with the paper they print. But that's a whole other subject. Now they're talking about training camps. 2 white nationalists who attended a paramilitary camp run by extremist Russian imperial movement outside of St. Petersburg. So now it's in Russia too. There's white nationalist paramilitary extremists that are in Russia that believe in sovereignty, Christianity, whatever. Here's the key thing right here. Ready for this? And I'm going to end here, and I'm going to start the next video with this thought. In 2019, the FBI director, Christopher Wray, warned that American white supremacists were traveling overseas for training with foreign nationalist groups. A report that year by the Sofan Center, a nonpartisan think tank. Yeah, those really exist. Those really truly exist. Nonpartisan think tanks. It's polarized. There is no such thing as nonpartisan at this point. No such thing. So this is probably a communist-funded think tank, and it found that as many as 17,000 foreigners, many of them white nationalists, have traveled to the Ukraine to fight on both sides of the separatist conflict there. Most were Russians, but among them were several dozen Americans. I'm not going to say anymore because I'm just not. It's not important, but I know for a fact that there are Americans going there to help. I know that for a fact. I'm not here to win friends. I'm not here to, be popular. I'm not here to play kitten videos and, cause drama and pick fights with people. I'm not here to do that. I'm here to help change things. That's what I want. And again, I'll say it for 5 years, we need to come together. We need to come together. Because at the end of the day, what you want, what I want, is essentially the same thing. But it's not what they want. And their job right now is to get us separated completely at all costs. They started with feminism, separating the women from the men. Then they went for our kids. They started separating our kids from us. And now they're down, and really it's never stopped, but they're really focused now on race. Listen to what I just said. They started separating the women from the men in the 60s. They started separating the children from their parents in the 70s and 80s and 90s and now. And really, it's a cluster F for the last 10 or so years. They're separating genders. They're separating races. They're separating, vampires from wolves. Team Edward. Okay, you see what's happening here? It's tribalism. It's tribalism. They're separating, people who watch football from, people who are fighting for whatever they're told, this is racial equality, even though money is what creates equality in this country for the most part. Right before I recorded this, I felt like I needed to calm down so I'm not yelling or whatever. I watched a montage of Tiger Woods. Unbelievable. Genius, athletic, like madman. Vast majorities of white people hanging on every stroke that he would hit that golf ball. Jumping, screaming up and down. Yeah, screaming up and like... Okay, so if there's a rapper standing there with tattoos on his face, his pants around his ankles, holding an assault rifle with rainbow-colored, gold-dipped, teeth or whatever, grills or whatever, are those white people going to be cheering? You see what I mean? That's how they've trained the kids. This is what you need to look like. This is what you need to look like. This is the music you need to do. This is the mumble rap and all this garbage. Just like making jail feel like home. Anymore, being incarcerated for a young black man in the city especially is really just a rite of passage. You go in there, all your friends are there, your family's there, you come out, your friends are there, your family's on the street. You go back in, your friends are there, some of your family's there, you come back out, your friends and your family's on the street. It's one and the same. But nobody, this BLM with their hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars isn't trying to make bids to buy the prison system. Why not? Because they're in on this too. On Covert Radio, you have no idea what's about to come for you guys. It's mind-blowing. And I told somebody close to me earlier tonight, I don't even, I feel like if I really, these next few videos that I'm putting up, I feel like, in a way, I don't want to put them up because I just feel like everybody's going to lose hope. I really do feel that way. Because again, what I'm going to show you and go over, nobody has, that I've seen at least. I haven't seen anybody put it together like I'm about to show you. And I just feel like once you see and understand this, everybody that sees this, they're either going to fully embrace the common party and togetherness, or they're going to lose hope, or they're going to shut down, turn it off, and go watch some kitten videos or go watch a movie or go play their GTA and whatever and just ignore it all until you're just literally, you don't have power anymore or there's rolling blackouts or the internet is out. Again, which is exactly what had happened when they ran the CAPS, the Event 201 with the CAPS, the CAPS pandemic. They had all those fake news reports that they had to produce and put up. And, the last couple videos I played, when I covered that about 6 or 7, 8 months ago, back in March, April or February and March, look on Covert Radio. They talk about the death toll. That just, there's so much information, man. All right, I literally wanted to make this 10 minutes, but, sorry about that. It's Sunday, so maybe this is the Sunday show. Tell your friends, tell your family. Subscribe to Covert Radio. Clip this video up, use some of it, put it out on different channels. If I'm not telling you the truth, then I want you to tell me the truth in the comments section of this video. You correct me, and you tell me the truth. Don't call me a liar without giving me factual evidence. I don't tolerate smears, racial smears. None of that is tolerated. I have moderators, but I won't tolerate any of that. I'm only interested in your opinions, your comments, and I want correction. If I'm wrong about anything I just said, tell me about it. Until then, you guys take care. Have a good day.